right. Good afternoon, Ashley.
Good afternoon.
So my name is Justine. I am a non-licensed mental health counselor. Right now I'm a graduate student at Roger Williams in the Forensic Mental Health Program. I work under the direct supervision of a clinical psychologist, though. So what brings you today?
So I've just been really stressed out. I just started a new program at school and just the workload is just so much and I'm having a lot of trouble managing my time and getting my assignments done and it's a lot.
So you just feel like you're a little overwhelmed because you have so much on your plate right now?
Yeah.
Okay. So are there a couple things that we need to discuss before we actually start therapy? It's talk therapy. I do not prescribe any medications. If you do feel like that would be beneficial, I can give you a referral to a doctor who can prescribe medications. Every week I'll probably assign you some homework because we're only meeting once a week and it'll be for a shorter amount of time. So it would be beneficial for you to do some work outside of these appointments. Are there any questions about that?
No.
Okay. And the other thing is confidentiality. What you say in this room will stay in this room other than with my supervisor. There are a couple things where I would have to break confidentiality. One of them would be if you discussed any potential self-harm for you or harming anybody else. I have to report that to authorities. And then if I hear of any abuse or neglect of any children, elderly, or disabled individuals. What questions do you have about that?
I don't think I have any.
Okay, good. So tell me a little bit about grad school.
Yeah, so it's just there's a lot of work that it brings on. Obviously, it's a lot more than undergrad, and I feel like there's just with my 5 classes, there's just so much reading, so much writing, and it catches up to me quickly, and I haven't really figured out a really good time management strategy. So I was just trying to see, if there's any possible solutions to my time management issues.
Oh, of course. So, all right. So it seems like you have a lot of classes, and it comes with a lot of work, and you aren't quite sure how to tackle each class with each assignment and each reading.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I mean, also there's a lot of presentations and public speaking as well in grad school, which there was in undergrad, but there's a lot of it in grad school, and I'm not the best public speaker or presenter, and it just gives me a lot of anxiety, and a lot of my classes do have presentations,
So they're a little nerve-wracking.
yeah.
Okay. What are some things that maybe helped you in your undergrad that could potentially help you in your grad school? I know it's a different school, different environment, but were there things that maybe helped you when you were in your undergrad?
So I did take intro to public speaking class in undergrad. I don't think it really helped all that much, because I guess it's easier said than done. We were just learning about the techniques to public speaking, but it's having to actually put those in real life and actually utilize them is the hard part. I don't know, I think it's just when I get up in front of the class, I'm totally fine learning about the material and I'm totally confident with my presentation, but then when I get up in front of class and everyone's looking at me, I almost just blank out. And
Yeah.
especially if I have a professor that's kind of rigid, very scary, I guess you could say, a scary type professor, which I do have one, and I have a presentation actually next week that I have to give in that class, and I'm so stressed out about it, and it's almost like I'm not managing my time actually working on it enough, working on the project, because I'm so scared that I just avoid working on it. Yeah, and I think it's just a mixture of the professor being kind of scary and being scared of presenting. So yeah.
So let's go back to your intro to public speaking. So
Yeah.
it's like you learned everything you're supposed to do, but then and you are confident about it, and then you get up there and it's like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Exactly.
Very understandable. Were there some things? What things did you learn in public speaking that you think maybe you could try to implement when you are posting that? Something that might help you not blank. Maybe note cards or something like that.
Yeah, note cards usually do help, or when I'm presenting, you can add the notes section under it, but oftentimes I love like the idea of note cards, but it's almost like I'm so focused on trying to switch between the slides and then looking back at the note cards and then worry about how I'm looking in front of the class. It's like, it gets so stressful. And I also learned to look over the other students in the class, like over their heads, so like it looks like you're talking directly to them, but you're not even looking at their eyes, you're looking over them, but still, it's like, I'm just still so stressed about it, and yeah, it's just.
So sometimes it seems like note cards actually might be a distraction because
Yeah,
you're more
yeah.
focused on the note cards
Yeah.
rather than that. Are there, or what are some things that you could do other than note cards that might give you a little bit more confidence?
I think maybe practicing at home more. Like I'll do like a couple practice runs, but I think maybe like if I were to work on my time management a little bit more and finish up my presentation sooner than like the day before the deadline, I'd have a lot more time to practice it and maybe feel more confident with it, like memorize how I'm gonna say things, so maybe.
So it seems like there's a little bit of procrastination in there, where we're so nervous about it that we're putting it off, and then now it's crunch time and I'm really struggling with getting it done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Tell me a little bit about this scary professor that is making you a little nervous about presenting.
Yeah, so I think his teaching style is a lot different than I'm used to. Like when he lectures, he doesn't go off of like a presentation, he just talks. And oftentimes like it's hard to retain that information when like there's nothing to refer to. He's just, his overall vibe, I guess you could say, comes from a different generation than I do. I think there's a little bit of a barrier that way, and he's just, yeah, he expects a lot out of us, but doesn't give us a lot of time to do our work, and it's just, I feel like his expectations are very, very high, even though this is graduate school. I do feel like they're a little bit extreme. So it makes me feel pressured to make every assignment completely perfect, and like if it's not completely perfect, then like he's gonna see it as like not good enough, and like I'm worried about, not getting a good grade, so especially in his class.
So he's tough.
Yeah, he's a very tough professor.
What about your other professors?
I mean, graduate school in all is tough, but I don't want to say like my other professors aren't as tough, but I think they just go about it in a much better way. They're just a lot more like understanding, I guess you could say. And they just, I guess, maybe have different teaching styles that work better with me.
Are you giving presentations in other classes?
Yeah.
And does it make you feel the same way, or is it maybe a little different because of different teaching styles?
I mean, now that you say that, honestly, I do feel less nervous in my other classes. Like, I obviously am nervous while presenting in the other classes, but particularly his class, it's a lot worse, so.
Maybe there could be a few things that you could try to transfer, like there's things that you do in these classes where the professors are a little bit easier on you, and maybe is there something, or what are some things that you could carry into the class where the professor is kind of tough? Like, is there maybe like something you could do to make him less scary?
I mean, I could go to like his office hours and maybe talk with him about that. I could just, I don't want to talk about, how do I put it? I mean, I could just talk to him like about what his expectations are. I mean, I feel like maybe talking on like one-on-one with him, which I haven't done yet, maybe talking one-on-one with him would kind of make him like, build that relationship a little bit more and like make it easier to talk to him and see him as more just like a person rather than as like my professor.
Right.
So maybe I could try to.
So it seems like if you can talk to him and be like, hey, like I'm a student, but I'm a real person and I'm not perfect and my presentation's not going to be perfect. Maybe it would be nice if you if you understood that and maybe didn't come off so harsh, when we present. What are, have you noticed anything that like the other students in your classes have done during presentations that you could maybe bounce off of?
I saw one of my classmates had a paper up there with her, and it was actually like the printed out, like slides from her presentation, but she had written notes on there, and, cause when I'm presenting, like I often, like, I don't like to just stand up there with like nothing in my hands, like which it looks like comforting almost, like she had the paper in her hand with the notes on it, and like when she wasn't looking at the notes that were on that paper, she kinda like rolled them up into like, just like rolled up versus like holding it, as like something to like.
It's almost like a fidget.
Yeah, exactly. So, yeah, maybe I could do something like that. But it's still gonna be nerve-wracking.
Definitely. I was in grad school, so I sympathize. I did not like presenting either.
Yeah.
Very, very nerve-wracking. So I understand that. So why don't we go back to the time management problem, because maybe that we could probably figure out a way to make that a little more balanced, and maybe it would prevent you from, going, oh my God, this is due tomorrow and I haven't done anything about it yet. Do you have maybe like a planner?
I've used planners in the past, yeah, but they haven't really turned out so well.
So you're trying, or you've tried, but it just didn't work.
Yeah, they haven't been all that successful for me.
Why do you think that they weren't successful?
I mean, I've gone out into the store and got like these really cute planners that like I think that if they look really nice and like it's gonna make me want to use them, but what I find is that I'll go buy a really cute planner, I'll plan out everything, all my homework assignments for the week, for maybe a week or two, and then I find myself just like not opening the planner after that, and then it just gets shoved into a corner and never to be seen again. So it's just like I'll start off strong with it, and then I just forget that it even exists, and then yeah, it goes downhill.
I think that that's very common. So, if you could, if you were able to keep up like with this planner, what would your ideal week like look like?
I think what I should be doing is, writing out like at the beginning of the week, going into like the school website or whatever, and looking at everything that I have to do for the week and writing that all down. But then also not waiting until like the day before to do the assignment. Maybe I should start like a couple days before working on each assignment. I feel like maybe if I had everything kind of written out really clear, like by class and every assignment that I have to do for that week, maybe it would, I don't know, and like write the due date with it, maybe it would be, I don't know.
When you do use your planner, how do you use it? Like, do you put in that this is due? Do you write it on the day that it's due, or is there like something like maybe on Monday I work on what's due on this day? Because I know some people you open your planner and
I write on the day that it's due, so I think maybe that's where there's a problem.
So I think maybe some homework for the week might be to switch around your planner and maybe plan something on a different day for a class that's due on that day. So say, your forensic psychology test is due on Wednesday, maybe put that on Monday's schedule, so that on Monday, that's when you work on that, rather than, because I think that when you put it on a due date, that's when you get to that, holy crap, that's due today, or that's due tomorrow. So I know some people that have done it that way, and it's a little bit more helpful, that way. So definitely think we should get back into using the planner. I think you have a good plan with it being cute, that always helps. Maybe would you want to like think about using like cute pens and highlighters and like what could motivate you to make that planner be what you want it to be?
I think that's a good idea though, using like bright colors and pens and like underlining things and highlighting just to make it stand out more, to make it more obvious that it's there. Or maybe if assignments if it's going to be coming up really soon, I could like highlight it in yellow, like color code them almost, so like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe do something like that. It sounds like something I could work on.
I think that would be good, a good little homework for this session. In a perfect presentation, what would that look like for you?
I think a perfect presentation would be me making the